Visit them online at techtimeradio.com.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. I'm Nathan Mumm, your host and technologist with over 30 years of technology expertise. Our co-host Mike Roday is in studio today. Mike's an award-winning author and a human behavior expert. Now we are live streaming during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch.tv, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com and become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. We are friends from different backgrounds, but we bring our best technology show possible weekly for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. We're glad to have Odie, our producer, in the control panel today. Welcome, everyone. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
All right, today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, buckle up.
You can't even say your own name right.
Today
What's up?
There you go. I had a little bit of whiskey pre-tasting. There you go. Today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, buckle up as we drive into the latest tech news and stories to keep you on the edge of your seat. In a surprising twist, 2 students have stumbled upon a security bug that could revolutionize laundry routines across the world. Imagine a world where millions can do their laundry for free. We'll dive into the details of an unexpected glitch. Meanwhile, Microsoft has dropped a bombshell announcement. What is it? Tune in to find out. We're going to talk about that as our lead off story. And additionally, we address the issue with risk posed by cute photos of your kids online as privacy concerns abounds. So do you want to share that new picture of your child or little one? We're going to talk about what happens and what is essential to protect them from those pictures. Then we take a look at how scientists are getting closer to mapping the organized chaos within ourselves. Thanks to an artificial intelligence AI article that Mike's going to be talking about. We also explore the latest research and discuss how this breakthrough could transform the medicine and biology. Ever wished for a total recall, a world that has memories are crystal clear? Well, Microsoft thinks it's possible. We discuss their ambitious project and if it's a safe idea. And finally, our special guest, James Riddle, will unveil groundbreaking medical advancements in brain-computer interfaces. From mind-controlled prosthetics to neural implants, these innovations are reshaping the healthcare as we know it today. And of course, in addition to that, we have our standard features, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, our technology fail of the week, a possible Nathan Nugget, and of course, our pick of the day, whiskey tasting, to see if our selected whiskey pick gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. Now, though, it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
All right, here we go, Mike. Do you want to live in a world with total recall? Microsoft thinks you do. Let's go to Corinne Westland for more on this story.
Microsoft has announced a new AI-powered feature for Windows 11 called Recall, which records everything you do on your PC and lets you search through your historical activities. Recall works like a photographic memory for your PC, letting you access everything you've seen or done on your computer in an organized way using queries in your native language. With Recall, you can scroll through your timeline to find content from any app, website, or document you had opened. The feature utilizes snapshots to suggest actions based on what it recognizes, making it easy to return to specific emails in Outlook or the right chat in Teams. I figure this should make most of us go,
All right. So what do you think about this? So Recall. So
my first question is, why would I use something like? I don't use things like that. There are search features in my email that I use if I'm looking for an email. There are search features in Teams that I use to search for things in Teams. Okay. Why do I need something that tells me everything my computer did?
Well, the idea of this is that it takes a screenshot, and essentially
This
that
is like,
screenshot
this is
will
like
be
a
saved.
ghost. Is this like a ghost network, or
Yeah.
not a ghost network, but a ghost shot of your internal?
So it does. So what it does is it takes a snapshot, it
Mhm.
stores it only on your internal device. Okay,
Mhm.
so it doesn't actually send it to Microsoft. None of the AI information is gathering
That
your
we
screenshot.
know of.
Well, no, because there would be so much other issues if they did that, because now they're grabbing your privacy. But essentially, it takes a screenshot up to weeks worth of data. Now you need to have a specific hardware requirement. And you have to have Copilot Plus for your PC. We're going to talk a little bit more on the Nathan Nugget on what the hardware requirement
Okay, so
is.
why would I need for what do I need this for?
Well,
and are we just trying to make things easier for forensic computer analysts to get at your information?
Well, yeah, I guess that's one of the reasons they're doing this. But the idea is, if you said, gee, I was at this website, I forgot to save the URL as a favorite. I wish I could go back because I was having a chat with somebody for support, or I was doing something at that website that was really important.
And I don't know how to use the history feature on my web
Yeah,
bar.
that's
Okay.
that's what they're thinking. They're thinking that you don't understand how to do that. So, see, you are much more technical. You're just talking about all the other technical ways that this can be accomplished. Yeah. So this is gaining what I want to say, comedic support on the dark web.
Comedic?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
I
Because
have a
essentially,
few.
if
I have a few jokes I'm thinking of.
Okay, because essentially what happens is now you're saving all of your screenshots and snapshots of these instances on your machine. So if I break into your machine and it's not encrypted, right now Microsoft was asked, how can you protect that? How is it encrypted? Microsoft went silent on that information, which means they don't have a solution for that, because otherwise they'd immediately come out and say, oh, this is what our technical stuff isn't available there. So if I was to hack into your computer, get access to your computer, forget about trying to read your email, forget about any of this. I'll just go to these snapshots and I'll bring up screenshots of what you're doing, all this other information. I can just drag and drop those down, and then I can view them offline at a later time of every single thing that you had going on your machine.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's
So what's the only thing I can see this as a personal user of a computer?
Yeah.
Is tracking what my kids are doing on their computers.
So that's kind of what it can become, is like a big brother watching you. Instead of it being a corporation doing it, you could do that as a mom or a dad. I guess maybe that could be an area to look into this for parental controls, but that's not how they released it. They're releasing it and they're releasing it for English, Chinese, simplified, French, German, Japanese, and Spanish, and all the language in there. It's the idea to go back to that snapshot, because it'll keep up to 2 weeks worth of data. And you can say, gee, is on Tuesday. So this is what I'm struggling with. How am I going to remember what day that snapshot was? I'll remember a favorite, but I'm going to remember Tuesday at 2:00.
I don't, maybe Microsoft people don't really understand how to use a computer. They just understand how the computer works.
Okay.
And because people don't remember stuff like that.
Well,
our memories don't work like that.
They spent a lot of time on this.
I'm thinking they have an ulterior motive for this.
Okay.
That's my feeling on this. I don't have any data or hard facts.
Oh, maybe they're going to break into your own computer.
I don't see any reason for it.
Yep.
There's absolutely I know how to search for things on my computer. Like,
the email integrated search is amazing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I can search by a user. I can search on a subject. I can search. I mean, I do not struggle with Microsoft Search for Outlook. That is as simple. I mean, that is as simple as it can be to find stuff. It's very easy.
Right. And I don't commonly lose files on my computer. Right. They're not like they fall out on the floor in the bus and it gets kicked under the seat.
That
doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So why do I need my computer to record everything?
Well, they're really excited about this major announcement release about this.
Okay, well, I'm sure they are.
All right, let's go to story number 2.
I don't know how to follow that up.
Well,
with this.
Well, your story is great. It's got all about enzymes.
Kind of AI focused. Why don't they just install an AI that could just tell you what you did for the last 2 weeks?
There you go.
That'll
be next.
We watched that video. That was just crazy. Anyway,
yep.
You know anything about protein science?
Not a ounce about protein.
Do you know what a protein is?
I know what a protein is. Yeah,
I'm not talking about what you eat.
I eat too much of that protein.
Yeah. We're talking about the building blocks of life.
Okay.
So there's a whole science out there dedicated to trying to figure out how proteins work, and it is way more complicated than people think it would be. In fact, I didn't know how complicated it was until this story came along to tell me how complicated it was. Did you know that they actually have competitions for people to predict what a protein looks like?
I did not.
That's a thing.
That's the thing. Well,
Yeah, because apparently a protein does what it does based on how it looks, or based on its shape, and this is just me taking what little knowledge I could from this research.
Okay.
And so AI is leaping forward with it. This is one of the uses of AI that is super helpful because of the way it can find and interpret data. Okay. Artificial intelligence.
Wow.
I guess my proteins are kind of mixed up because I can't speak right. Anyway.
I was gonna say you're pulling a Nathan Mumm.
Wow.
I know. He was looking at me, and there was just
we're just looking at
transfer.
I looked at you in your eyes, and you just melted. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
So we're talking about Google a AI called AlphaFold 3. It's an AI program that can predict the unique shapes of proteins as well as almost other types of molecules like enzymes. What I understand is that this can analyze the data of how a protein works, and according to what I was reading, it can take an entire PhD's
thesis.
Okay. Yeah, that thing.
I'm here to help.
That's quite not what it is, though.
Okay.
But it can take that entire person's career to map out one protein. So this is incredibly complex, the way these work, and so AI is able to predict how proteins look many times better. And with the advent of this, and this isn't brand new. There have been these AI predicting models for a while now.
Okay.
And they're just getting better and better at predicting how things work. It's not completely 100% though.
Okay. Why is that?
Because nothing is 100%.
Okay.
But what this thing can do with this AI, as it generates information to the scientists, it also lets them know that there wasn't enough data on this particular string of proteins to give a predictable response.
Okay.
So it's able to analyze things that it takes a long time to analyze just from our biological.
You should ask James, because he's on the show today. James Riddle is our guest.
We'll ask.
You should
James.
ask him about.
Why am I talking
concept.
about this when James is on here? James is like all into this stuff.
I know.
We can talk about this.
It's a great lead-in story, then, right?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we can talk to James about it.
There you go. All right. Story number 3.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Well, what do you got?
You shouldn't want to share your kids on social media, which is,
it's like 101, right?
Yeah, 101.
Okay.
What's that got to do with proteins?
That has nothing to do
Oh,
with
wait a
proteins.
minute. We're on a different story.
But it has to do with just taking care of your kid's identity,
Okay.
So
now, we were talking about this at the production meeting last night,
mhm.
and you went off on a little bit on a tirade.
I went off on a tangent
You
about
did.
something else.
Yeah, we call those Nathan tangents, but I'm glad that you did that.
That wasn't a Nathan tangent.
No, it was
Yeah,
an
it was-
Odie tangent.
What was the Odie tangent?
Well, my tangent was that there is a creator on TikTok who is, I want to say, exploiting her 3-year-old now 4-year-old daughter for views and for money.
Okay.
Mhm.
And she's been posting since she was about a year old, and her whole life for the past 3 years is all on social media. You know when her birthday is, you know what she looks like, you know what she's wearing, and the general city that she lives in. that child has no sense of privacy and they can't advocate for themselves. And that's something that parents should, be aware of when they post their kids on social media. That yes, you want to share your lovely little ones with your family, but keep it private. Keep it within a closed range of people, not a public view.
Do you know why that's important?
It's important because people on the dark web could look up your kid and they can get their information. All they need is a birthday, which parents do all the time. And, that's in their name, which is given. And then they can open up lines of credit. They can stalk the child. They can harass the child in some cases, depending on who it is.
This is a real interesting thing because I have a friend of mine that I know, and his son's a little older in age, and so he's documenting every day about his journey with his daughter. So I know online, online. So I know everything about birthdays, what's going on, what the house looks like, and so essentially this is opening up to predators.
Yes,
but we've done this. We've done this all our lives, even before the internet. We use albums.
We share photos.
But now it's open to anyone.
That's
and everyone.
right. That's the problem.
That's the distinction.
And that's also the draw.
Why is that?
Because we have an audience.
Yeah.
So one of the big reasons why social media is so powerful is because not only are we documenting things that we want to document, now we have an audience that can react to that.
Yeah, because my buddy's getting all these feedbacks. Oh, it's so great to see you. And
yeah,
daughter,
and a lot of it is harmless. Like, oh, it's so cute to see, like the creator that I've hear about on TikTok. She says that it's her own mommy diary.
Yeah, it's her own delusion.
That. Yeah, I understand that. But there are a lot of creeps out there. There are a lot of people that don't need to know this information. Might as well just keep it to just your followers. Or
just your private group.
Your private group. Yep. You don't need to post anything.
This particular person that you're talking about, she's also getting monetary rewards for it,
which is why she won't take it down.
Exactly. Yeah. So she has two very powerful reasons to continue to exploit her child.
As a parent, I'm not one, but personally, if I knew that there are creeps out there that are purposely watching my child for free, I feel like I'd feel more inclined to take my account down.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
That's pretty pretty
absolutely
good especially coming from somebody your age who has been indoctrinated in the internet scene.
I completely understand where she's coming from. The kid is gaining they're getting sponsorships, they're getting collabs, they're getting money. That's her source of income. I spoke with my sister about it today because she and I have talked about the topic a lot. And she mentioned, well, the mother says that she is a single mom and this is her only, or I think she has another kid as well.
Yeah, that's not a good excuse.
And this is her source of income. And it's like, okay, but you know that you're exploiting your own kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, being a parent also
that would kill me to have. I did post some pictures back then of our kids, but they're adults now. But I would never do what these people do.
No, I didn't do any of that either. I also, from my background as well, I don't even think you should put those stupid stickers on the back of your car.
Yeah.
Oh, the baby on board.
Baby on board, so you know how big your family is.
But the little stick figures that show everybody in your family, because that's information that a predator can use.
True.
So, but that may be a little over the top.
Well, I don't know, Odie. So when you have kids, you're not going to be posting pictures of them online. You think?
No,
not at least with TikTok or one of these places, right?
I'm going to be posting them online, but it's going to be a very closed group of people that can see it. A lot of my stuff that I post on social media when it comes to like families and stuff, it's only to the people that I know. Okay. And it's when Facebook first started, it was friend everybody, become friends with everybody. The most amount of followers that you can get, the better. Yeah. I don't have that same opinion anymore now that I'm older. Yeah.
You're okay with like 30, 40 people you follow?
I regularly go through my Facebook like every quarter and double check. I'm like, oh, I don't talk to this person anymore. Unfollow, unfriend, And the article also talks about having those conversations with family members because it's one thing, a lot of things that happen nowadays is where a parent will say, I'm not comfortable with you taking a picture of my child. Please don't post it online. But a family member will be like, oh, well, I want to share little one coming into the world with everybody. It's like, no, let's respect the privacy first and having an open conversation with your family about that.
That should be important. All right. Well,
yeah. Well, if you're, interested in more information, I believe there's a book out there that you can get.
Mhm.
And what is it called? Do you remember?
No.
Sherrington.
It's called Sherrington.
Yep.
Why we should think before we talk about our kids online.
By
It's
Leah Plunkett.
Leah Plunkett.
Yep.
Plunkett.
2019.
It's
So,
a pretty good book.
Sharon
So
Hood.
I read some excerpts of it. I did not read the whole book, but really
well,
kind of talks
this
about.
This is again where I get in trouble for being kind of negative about it because when we're offered these technological advances, we often don't understand what it's doing.
Yeah,
we don't understand. Yeah, we don't understand the consequences of our actions. So we use this technology in what seems like very innocuous or innocent ways, and
that's why you better read your user agreements if you're using any of these file sharing things. Because a lot of those will allow you to then take those pictures you post and they can reuse those for advertising.
Yeah, well, Facebook owns
Shutterfly does that. A bunch of these other places that you go and you post your videos. If you don't put them in certain areas.
Doesn't Facebook say that if you upload a photo, it becomes accessible to everybody?
Of them. Yeah, there's some guidelines onto what they do, but yes.
My point is that we all dive into this stuff without thinking about the consequences, and that's one of the really hard pieces of how we as human beings don't interact well with this technology, because it ends up coming back to bite us. I mean, there's examples of people who have used the internet to, well, there was a very famous serial killer that used the internet to get victims.
Isn't that Facebook stalker or whatever it was called?
I think it was something like
or
that.
the Craigslist. It was a Craigslist.
It was a Craigslist guy. Yeah.
Yep. Craigslist killer.
But this we are always putting our information out there, and we don't know where it's going. And then we get messages on our email, like I did last week, about Kaiser Permanente getting hacked, and that I've lost my data.
Yep.
Somebody else got my data, so my data was supposed to be safeguarded by somebody else.
And there's no real penalty. What do you do to them?
You can't do anything
because they're a part of your health care. If you still want to get taken care of,
but the reason why I kind of sound like a negative Nancy a lot of the times is because there's all these consequences that we don't realize we are putting ourselves into by using these things. Just like the guy in the electric car, the self-driving car, a few weeks ago. That
now he's up for manslaughter.
Yeah, now he's up for manslaughter because he was doing something he wasn't supposed to do.
Yep.
But he was playing games on his phone while he had the self-drive.
What's that?
I thought he fell asleep.
No.
He was playing on his phone.
Yeah, drinking. He had drank a little bit earlier, so he was a little maybe intoxicated. So he put it.
We don't know. We don't know if he was intoxicated. We do know that he was on his phone,
and we do know he's on the phone. And he did say that he was drinking previously. They didn't say that his alcohol content was higher than anything. He just was. Yeah, he was just distracted driving.
He put his trust in the self-driving system,
right?
And it failed, and he still is responsible.
All right. Do you have anything else, Odie?
No.
Because guess what? You're going to love this. TikTok announces today a $1 million program for socially driven creators to put pressure on the U.S. possible ban. Will the voice of the people stop the doom? Yep. Let's go to David Larson with more on the story.
TikTok is pulling out all the stops, using U.S. TikTok creators to help fight the U.S. government. Creators in the new program will get support from TikTok, as they will donate $25,000 to a nonprofit of their choice. This program enables us to connect with wider audiences, encouraging creativity for meaningful advocacy, said Alan Lebrique, a director at the World Health Organization. In April, President Joe Biden signed a bill that would ban TikTok if ByteDance does not sell the app. Over the year, a lot can happen if ByteDance has to sell. Back to you in the studio.
All right, so this just came out, breaking news today. So TikTok is spotlighting 10 creators.
Mhm.
So you're just talking about your gal here, right? So I don't know if she made the list or not. They didn't say who the list was.
I would doubt that as well.
I would hope not. But essentially what they're doing is they're now paying up to $25K to the charity of these organizations and these creators. A lot of these creators use their nonprofit currently to do their postings. So essentially, it's not giving them cash, but for a lot of these, it would be giving them
rewarding
cash.
their nonprofit.
Yeah, their nonprofit that is supposed to be supporting their TikTok videos that are there.
What is 10 creators going to be able to do?
Well, the idea of this, here's what they got. The idea of this is they're going to use 10 creators to start out with at this. Then they're looking at maybe spending up to $100 billion and giving up to $1 million a year out to charities that participate and co-creators. So what they're trying to do here is create this reoccurring revenue stream for these American-based, and these are all American-based creators, not national-based creators, high-end creators, huge audiences. The people are watching these individuals that will then, I think their plan is if they decide that, hey, we're going to have to get rid of TikTok, these creators then go to Congress. These creators then write the letters saying, what do? You're taking my livelihood away from me. You're taking how I make money. You're taking all this great stuff that I'm doing.
It sounds like it's not about banning TikTok. It's about getting rid of the element that the U.S. government doesn't want involved in TikTok, right?
Well,
didn't what's his name say that the bill was that he signed a bill that he's going to ban TikTok unless TikTok is sold by ByteDance?
Joe Biden said, that was a part of their deal at the beginning of the year, is that they expect ByteDance, which is the company that owns TikTok,
right, which is
sell to an American business to be ran within the United States. ByteDance, I don't think, has any idea or any willingness to do that. They want to keep it as a part of their own.
Of course they do, because it's a generator of money.
But now, instead of them fighting legal fees, they're paying their creators a big pile of cash.
Okay. Do you think that's going to work?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the smartest idea
I agree.
that you could. This is, because now you're going to have hundreds and thousands of people that are like, hey, you can't get rid of this TikTok person that I watch. This is exactly what I do. This is my entertainment. This is what I do.
Tell them to go to Facebook.
Well,
Facebook is not the same.
No, the Reels is not the same. Not Reels is nowhere near the level of what TikTok is. So there you go. Just broke today. Kind of aligned with Odie's story. And
well, we'll see how it goes. But that's not a. I don't think this is a new idea. It's similar to buying votes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. Moving on, we have James Riddle, our medical expert, joining us in our next segment after the commercial break. You will want to make sure that you are here to get James' thoughts on how technology is advancing and how it is making the blind to see. We'll see you right after this commercial break.
This is Mark.
And Greg.
For Copiers Northwest.
With a terrific offer.
Called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
As long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Our weekly show covers the top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And, of course, with a little whiskey on the side. Today, Mark Gregoire, our whiskey connoisseur, is in the studio. Mark, what have you chosen for us today?
Gentlemen, today we're drinking Smooth Ambler Old Scout Private Barrel Seatown, which is
Seatown.
Yep, it was chosen by a group here in the Seattle area.
Okay, aged 6 years, it says.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from Smooth Ambler's website, Old Scout Bourbon is a high rye straight bourbon whiskey and enjoys the bold character we think excellent bourbon should deliver. It is sweet and smooth with notes of butterscotch and cherry pipe tobacco. So it's from the Smooth Ambler Spirits Company, which is actually now owned since 2016 by Pernod Ricard Group. It is source whiskey from MGP in Indiana, straight bourbon, 6 years old, 109 proof, 60% corn, 36% rye, and 4% malted barley. The price is roughly $40 that I paid for it. It's going for about 70 right now.
Oh, on this. So this has a secondary market.
A slight secondary market.
Okay, so this bite was unbelievable. The first I had, and I was just kind of shivering and moving through. But then I had a second little taste of it, and I can taste the tobacco, and it's a little bit, it's a lot smooth. It's a first big bite, but otherwise
we'll see how it
smooth.
develops over the hour program. I'm very curious because I don't know what it tastes like because I got an empty glass.
No, you already had some in there. You need some more. We can pour it through
I think
the
at the
commercial
next break I'm going to go grab some more.
Okay, all right.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. In addition, please comment on our sites that we have for whiskeys you'd like us to review.
But we did get a comment last week regarding our our whiskey. So if you guys like the whiskey or want to know more about the whiskey, put it on our comments on YouTube. If you have other questions, send it to Mark's personal email just joking. Okay, all right. Well, with our first whiskey tasting completed, let's move on to our features segment today. We have James Riddle joining the show. James, the Vice President of Research Services and Strategic Consulting at Advera. He is also served for the Association for Accreditation of Human Resource Protection Programs. James, an advocate for responsibility in medicine and research, but he is also known as our TechTime's medical and research expert in technology. Let's get ready to start our Comcast video.
Welcome to the segment we call Ask the Experts with our TechTime radio expert, James Riddle.
James, welcome to the show today.
Hi, James.
Greetings, gentlemen.
Where are you joining us from?
I am in Phoenix, Arizona today.
Okay.
Is it nice and warm and hot there?
It is all sunshines here on my iPhone for the foreseeable future.
Okay, well, you know what? We have Washington liquid weather. That means it rains all day and doesn't accumulate anything because it's
now we've got a very high mist content outside.
That's right. Okay. All right. Well, James, today on the show, we are excited to have you to talk about the medical field. Now, let's start first off regarding pioneering CRISPR gene editing trials that have been seen to improve retinal disease. James, can you first explain to us what CRISPR is and more on this story?
Yeah. So I think we've talked about gene editing as an advancement in medicine a couple of times on the show. The advent of CRISPR and other gene editing technologies allows doctors to go in and essentially fix stuff that's broke. If you think back to high school biology class and you imagine the double helix that shows up in your body to represent the DNA, imagine something in that was broken. In this particular case, the people who have the genetic abnormality, it causes something called Leber congenital amaurosis type 10.
Okay, wow.
And essentially their CEP290 gene is messed up. And because of that, they can't see. And it impacts 2 or 3 out of 100,000 babies that are born here in the United States. And the folks at Oregon Health Sciences University, they've got a experimental treatment based on the CRISPR gene editing technology, which will allow for that gene to be fixed. Simple as that. It's a one-time, one-and-done treatment. And in the initial clinical trials, nearly 70% of people who participated in the trial, who normally would not have any hope of having this genetic abnormality fixed, it's fixed. And they go on and live a normal seeing lifestyle.
Okay, so is this essentially, you're not completely blind if you have this gene necessarily, is that correct? So you just
That's
have
correct.
very...
It's a degenerative vision disorder. And so you have trouble seeing certain things. It certainly impacts people's lives quite significantly. And this gene editing technology, we've been able to figure out, one, where's the gene, what's broken, And then 2, be able to figure out how to go in and fix it without breaking other stuff. And it's the without breaking other stuff that is the real challenge, because if you have, for instance, 2 or 3 or 4 or a complex interrelationship of genes that need to be fixed, it's harder to do that than it is to go in and fix one particular gene.
Perfect. So now, is this officially able to be done, or is it still in experimental stages? Is this something that your local, if I have problems seeing, my local doctor can put me in a trial with this, or how do I get to sign up for this if I had this issue?
Yeah, so the therapy based on CRISPR is still experimental. It's not approved yet through FDA. It's going through clinical trials right now, which is what the article in the New England Journal of Medicine was all about. Was the preliminary results from the first batch of folks who participated in the trial. So it's not something that you can walk down to the corner Walgreens and just ask them for the CRISPR to help you fix your vision.
Yeah, not yet anyway.
Not yet. But there are a number of gene therapies that have been approved by the US FDA this year, including some for sickle cell disease and other ailments that involve a genetic disorder, where a gene therapy is being used in order to either fix or treat the genetic abnormality. So it's becoming more and more common. I know where I'm at Advara, we see research up and down the spectrum, and we see a lot more individualized or small group gene therapies for rare disorders and other genetic abnormalities coming through and in the pipeline. So we're going to see more advancements in this area in the course of the next 4, 5, 6 dozen years.
All right. Okay. Now let's talk about the report that came out May 17th in the journal Cell. This provides proof that a vaccine can fight the strains of HIV. Why is it that we are now 30 years since HIV has come on out, and we still really don't have a vaccination in place for this?
Yeah, so in contrast to the last story, where gene therapies are proving themselves right and left and getting approvals, a vaccine for HIV has proven elusive, very elusive for the last 30 years, not for lack of trying. There's been a plethora of organizations and lots of taxpayer dollars invested from the National Institutes of Health trying to find a vaccine for the HIV virus. There's been therapeutics developed to keep the virus at bay. It is not the death sentence that it used to be if you contracted HIV and then the AIDS that goes along afterwards. People can live with HIV infection for quite some time and live a fairly normal life, but a vaccine is obviously still the most and best way to prevent and stop that particular infection. And the folks have been looking for years for ways to tinker with HIV vaccines to try and get the appropriate vaccine response. And this is another encouraging news. Frankly, we've had encouraging news releases like this in the past. Hopefully this one has some teeth to it, and we'll follow on with the requisite complement of clinical trials to determine if the vaccine candidate is safe and effective at being able to prevent people from getting HIV. If you could imagine, vaccine trials are complex because you have to vaccinate a large enough portion of the population to be able to detect a response, and folks are much less likely to contract HIV than they used to be, particularly with all of the advent of education and the like. So it will be a while before this particular article proves out, but it could be the precursor. We could look back on this 5 or 6 years from now and go, gosh, we talked about it on the radio 5 or 6 years ago, and here it is, the vaccine's getting approved by the FDA.
Perfect. All right, here we go. Let's talk about BCI, which is brain-computer interfaces. Now, we talked about this with Neuralink, and Elon Musk did a big tweet where he said that he had someone taken care of, announced that he had successfully implanted a chip in a human brain. The unidentified patient supposedly has made a full recovery and can operate a computer mouse with their thoughts, according to the company. Now, James, besides what's going on in the space and Neuralink, because sometimes I read that stuff when Musk puts it out there, and I'm like, okay, is this really happening, or is it kind of just vaporware? Musk has a good idea, and he'll just put it out there as fact type of deal. Tell me what, though, is going on in the BCI technology realm, and what are we looking at for this?
Yeah, so Musk obviously generates a lot of attention. Whenever he says something, there's media attention around it. He's a smart guy. He knows how to play up in the media.
He knows how to rile people up.
Yeah, he knows how to get free press. He gets free press. Headlines, headline news, right?
Exactly. The practical reality is that brain interface devices have been around since the late 80s. Okay. You can go down to the Pacific Science Center and sit down at one of their game tables and put on a cap that allows you to move a particular ball around the table. So just using your brain waves, just by thinking. You can have a little game with the person on the other side of the table and try and get the ball down to the other end.
When is that going to be in the Olympics?
When is that going to be in the Olympics? I have no idea.
That actually could be a pretty good Olympic sport. It'd give all the chess players something to do.
Yeah, yeah. Chess and bowling are part of the Olympics.
Okay, all right.
So, I mean, the advancements in this technology are moving along. Neuralink did reportedly successfully implant their device into their first human subject in their trial. There are other companies that are working on this technology. I think the most interesting thing in this space is not necessarily the technology itself, because we already know that you can interpret brain waves to do certain things. Move the mouse, move the ball, move your arms for amputees, be able to move fingers or what have you. I think that the most interesting thing recently has been, what are we going to do when these devices enable people that currently cannot do certain things, like drive a car or walk down the street, or be able to manipulate some kind of a device with because they're disabled, etc. And now these brain interfaces enable the person to do things that they couldn't do before. And the person's driving a car and they hit somebody. Is it their fault, or is it the brain interface that didn't work properly to control the car? Who's at fault? Who gets sued? We were talking a little earlier about someone who fell asleep with the self-driving module.
Oh, he's playing on his phone.
Or playing on his phone.
Playing on his phone. Okay, fell asleep playing on his phone. Whatever. Sure. But you can imagine the types of legal ramifications and regulatory ramifications. Like, who really is controlling how your thoughts are interpreted into the real world? And what level of...
I mean, that's a whole...
Well, yeah. I mean... The legal system has to catch up with everything else too, because we've talked about it many times before, that certain of these new technologies create new legal terms, and
new laws,
legal
new
procedures
there.
Things.
Okay.
But the state of the medical field as it relates to brain computer interfaces, or BCIs, it very much is advancing quickly. And it's advancing quickly, much similar to the gene editing, where the computing power and the understanding of how the brain waves work and the interrelationship between the electrons and neurons and the like inside your head, and how you can interpret those to do certain things, like move a mouse or move your hands, or potentially even fully automated exoskeletons, for instance. We see those in the movies. Where people will put on the exoskeleton. You everybody remembers RoboCop, right?
Yeah.
Well, those aren't actually too far off from being not science fiction anymore, because as long as the brain is functioning properly, and you have a sufficient amount of computing power to be able to monitor what the brain is doing, you can certainly interpret those signals and those electronic signals into actions that a device can take. So it's a really exciting time to be in research in the medical field and studying these STEM type technologies, because over the course of the next 20, 30 years, you're going to see a movement and shift in the medical field and our ability to treat human disease and human conditions in a ways shifting, like things, being able to understand how medicines work and how vaccines work. We
talked about it last week too, with AI doing some helping with the prescriptions of certain drugs that you need to have. So the technology.
they're using AI to collect all the metadata for antidepressants.
Yep. So there's a lot that's out there. All right, James.
It's not actually diagnosing patients.
Okay.
I want to make that clear.
Okay. Well, it's not diagnosing, but it's we talked about. There's only a few of the prescriptions that people just kind of prescribe,
out of the
much better.
out of the 30 some odd antidepressants, there's 4 that get overused.
Yep. All right, James. So in this world of excitement, what makes you in the last 30 seconds? What makes you most excited about medical and technology for this upcoming year?
Yeah, so the thing that excites me for the upcoming year and even beyond is just how quickly we are able to move from ideation and ideas through human clinical trials and get those therapies and treatments out into the general population.
That makes sense. All right, James.
That process is accelerating, and it's super exciting to be part of.
How can people get in touch with you besides on TechTime Radio? Somebody wanted to ask you some medical jargon or anything like that. Where's the best place for them to find you?
Best place to find me is on LinkedIn. If you go to LinkedIn and look up James Riddle, and then filter out Jimmy Hoffa, because just an interesting factoid, his name was James Riddle Hoffa. So if you go out to Google James Riddle, you'll get Hoffa.
Okay.
That's where he went. He went to Phoenix.
That's right. Okay. All right.
I could reasonably say not me, but the best place to get a hold of me is on LinkedIn.
All right. Thank you so much for being part of our show. Hopefully we get you back here in the next couple months or so, and we'll see what's going on in the world of medicine.
Very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
That ends our Ask the Expert with James Riddle. Up next, we have
James is using the CRISPR to hide his Jimmy Hoffa identity.
Is that what he's doing? He changes his DNA. That's right. All right. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side. We'll see you after this break.
Join the fun and grab tickets to Geek Fest West, the 3-day Geek Festival extravaganza of fun and entertainment that will take place on the 3rd weekend in July. Learn more at geekfest.com. GeekFest will feature diverse activities, including a film festival, vendor hall, street fair, outdoor music festival, cosmic cosplay, and video game tournaments. Join us at GeekFest West, the ultimate celebration of geek culture. To learn more, visit geekfest.com. That is geekfest.com.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going back to May 19, 2006. Apple opens the Cube store in New York. You remember this story? But this is the store that you can see all the way through. It's a big cube.
No, I've never been an Apple guy, so that really never.
So the idea was that you can see everything that's going on. You can see the technician working on the machine. You can see them selling stuff.
Oh, it was a zoo.
Well, no, not a zoo. Well, I guess you can call it a zoo. It is in New York, so maybe. Well, now Apple opens its second store in New York City, a 2,000 square foot shop in the underground concourse of the General Motors building at 767 Fifth Avenue. Open 24 hours a day, the shop is visible at street level through a 32-foot glass cube. Designed by Apple CEO Steve Jobs at the cost of $9 million, people stood in line for hours prior to the store's opening. This opening comes 5 years after the first 2 locations of their new retail stores opened in McLean, Virginia. And guess what? Today, I will be visiting my local Apple store to get my laptop battery replaced.
Yeah, that's not the cube, though.
All right. No, that's not the cube. That was This Week in Technology. If you ever wanted to see some Tech Time history with over 200 weekly broadcasts spanning 4+ years of video podcasts, blog information, you can visit us at techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have Mark's Mumble Whiskey Review. See you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
I've been waiting all week for this.
All right,
apparently everybody.
All right, what are we doing today?
I'm trying to read your
I
thing.
know, I just saw you. I'm moving my paper away.
I was trying to figure out.
I did this day specially for you, Nathan.
Okay, what's today?
It's National Clown Day, huh?
Wow.
Well, not quite. Talk Like Yoda Day.
Oh,
that has nothing to do with Nathan.
Master Yoda, you seek Yoda.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Okay, Yoda Day.
Nathan has nothing to do.
Yeah,
with
I don't know if
Nathan,
I'm a good Yoda talker.
Well, you love Star Wars.
I do like Star Wars. I love Star Wars though. So
Yeah.
Do you love Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
So let's talk about Yoda Day. This is an opportunity for diehard Yoda fans like Nathan and Mike to honor the day we first meet the wisest little green guy in the galaxy upon the release of The Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
Yoda is one of the most memorable movie characters in history. It's not only the wise things Yoda says, but how he says them that makes his character an iconic piece of pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to celebrate Jedi General Yoda leading the 41st Scout Battalion into battle to support the Wookiees.
Oh my
Wookiees?
God.
Wookiees?
Wookiees.
Wookiees?
We know where you stand on the whole Star Wars thing.
Wookiees.
Read on.
We're drinking Old Scout today from Smooth Ambler. The Old Scout line of Smooth Ambler source whiskey is distinguished as such. Now, a single barrel version of this is available in appropriately named OSB single barrel. It's also available by private selection, which we are drinking today, and is typically seen with a handwritten age statement, as you can see on the bottle. They are bottled at barrel strength, with this one at 109 proof. Now, I find this to be a delicious pour, especially for the price I paid. It has rich brown sugar, caramel, slide oak, and finishes with baking spices. I say, what's not to love?
You know what? After that first bite, it is pretty good.
My glass is empty.
My glass is empty.
Yeah, I'll get through it here too. It is
Nathan's
really good.
contemplating Yoda right now, I guess.
All right, you know what? Whiskey and technology, what a great pairing. Kind of like Geek Fest West and everything geek. All right, let's prepare for our technology fail of the week by Elite Executive Services, technology experts to help you out of a technology fail.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right, this week our failure comes to us from CSC Service Work, which controls over 1 million laundry and vending machines in service at colleges, multi-housing communities, laundromats, and other locations in U.S., Canada, and Europe. Now, 2 students found a security bug that could let millions of people do laundry for free. The security labs could let essentially college students do all of their laundry they need to get taken care of. And this comes out of the vulnerability from 2 students at the University of California, Santa Cruz, that found in an internet-connected washer machine essentially the patch in the exploit on the API. Now, 2 students who were working on the API of the machines found out that they could remote command into these devices that included allowing them to have millions of dollars of credits on the laundry mat services. Now, despite a response from CSC, the students said that they lost their millions that they put into their account. So they put a bunch of money into their account. They said CSC essentially took it all back, wiped it all out. But they haven't said anything about their vulnerability, and it's still available in their Internet of Things integration that comes with their default passwords and admin access. So this is one of these devices.
It's a problem right now. It's probably going to be fixed real quick.
So really quick, you got to go down and take care of it. But so here's my question. We were talking about this, and this is kind of a cute exploit. We were talking last night about all the different laundromat schemes that we could think of. We talked about coins you can drop down with the string and pull it back.
We used to do all kinds of things with arcade
wooden
games.
nickels.
Yeah, with nickels. That's where that comes from.
So why do people do this? So, I mean, literally, they spent all their time figuring out how they could jack into getting their laundry for free.
Because in every single group, you always have people who aren't going to follow the rules.
Okay.
So it's based on partially need.
Okay.
It's based on partially want.
Okay.
Maybe curiosity, but it's really this sort of idea that if I can get something for free, I'm going to. And if I have to pay $1 to wash a load of clothes, but I can figure out a way to jack the machine so that I don't have to pay that $1, I'm more likely to take that role,
route.
And that is really based on where my sense of morality falls in this situation.
You know, it goes back
because the sense of morality doesn't always fit for every situation.
It reminds me of, you ever remember the Fonz?
Yeah, where he
just hit the jukebox and boom, it was ready to go.
Yeah, the only people that Remember Happy Days is going to remember that.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Sounds like we're leaving.
Yeah. Let's go take our pick of the day. Whiskey tasting here.
We are drinking Smooth Ambler Old Scout Private Barrel that was picked locally by Seatown.
Okay. All right. What do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'm giving it a thumbs up. It's really got a nice finish and a very pleasant taste.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it a thumbs up also. I thought it was fantastic, and I didn't like the first bite, but after that, it was really good. Does this fit on your shelf, Mark? Where does it fit?
This bottle's coming right back home. It'll probably be done in a week or two.
All right. Is it on the top shelf, middle shelf?
It's not a top shelf. It's a nice daily pour.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, we want to thank everybody. It was an honor to do today's show. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you give us a 5-star review on whatever podcast service you may use. And remember, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today. See you next week.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.